I will tell you a couple of words about myself, and
Sure.
then we'll move to you. So I'm part of spiritual groups, and we call ourselves School of Fifth Way.
Fifth way.
Fifth Way. You probably know the Gurdjieff. Do you know Gurdjieff?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like he has the idea of fourth way, so we like move this direction.
Fifth way.
Fifth way. One of person who was very much involved in our school in 90s, when we don't have so much variety of books, he published John Энрайta book, Enlightenment, Gestalt for Enlightenment.
From the United States.
Probably. He translated it to Russian and published it.
Yeah.
So I've been selling this book, and I read it many times. You probably know this book.
I know him personally. Yeah.
You know, that will be
That
very...
was years ago, though. Maybe 20, 30 years ago, I was in his institute.
This would be very
The
interesting to me.
Gestalt-Institute in Connecticut.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked him if I could sit and watch.
Mm-hmm.
And then he gave me his book.
Mm-hmm.
And the student said, he must love you,
Mm-hmm.
because he doesn't give his book
Mm-hmm.
to anybody.
Mm-hmm.
So it was very nice meeting him.
Did you get some experience of enlightenment in his...
Enlightenment is not a thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is a thing.
Да.
Enlightenment is a process.
Да.
And it's never ending.
How do you know? Why?
Because you never get to anything but more growth and more growth and more growth. It's like, let's say, a caterpillar
Mm-hmm.
becomes a butterfly. Okay, it's
Yeah.
like an evolution. And in my life, I went through many stages where I needed to shed, to get rid of, I didn't know I was doing it, but to get rid of my ego. And it was very painful. And I had a very big, I still have, a very big narcissistic problem. Not a problem, a challenge. And in working with Gestalt, it's not that I teach enlightenment, but it's my attitude. First of all, the Gestalt taught me how to meet a person where they are.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't put anything on them, I don't teach them anything. The only thing I can do is to be with them where they are. And then to accept that, not to criticize and I was a very big criticizer. I had huge problems with criticism and in judging people. And I didn't realize it until I went to Vipassana meditation.
By Gayenka?
This-
10 days?
Hmm?
10 days
Yeah, 10
Vipassana
days, yeah.
by Gayenka.
Have you done that?
I could not.
Okay. I thought I couldn't either, but it was very nice. Because it was Gestalt. To be by yourself and to be aware of what's coming up, feelings, thoughts. And I paid attention to my thoughts about the people who were with me, and I criticized all of them. This one doesn't know anything, this one's a jerk, this one's... And then the last day, you're supposed to go and talk to people so that you get used to, because you're very vulnerable. So talk before you go out into the world. And I realized all those people that I was criticizing were wonderful, marvelous people. And I said, so this was an awakening of how I criticize people and how that was ruining my life, ruining my relationships. Because people feel, you know, if I come to you and I'm looking at you, Lenny is accepting me, Lenny is not accepting me, Lenny is, without words. And I was doing that without words, and so I made a promise to never ever criticize anyone ever again. and to see only the beauty and the positive things about everybody. That's the decision I made. So when I say it's a process, it's also a process that comes with age. I'm 87. And I don't think I could have come to this, let's say 30 years ago. Because 30 years ago I was addicted to sex. I was addicted to alcohol. I was addicted to tobacco. I was addicted to pills. But I was still on the path. And I was still shedding, like a snake sheds the skin. It's an evolution. It's an evolving process. I finally got to the point where I realized that the next step I have to take is to surrender. Because I have no more sex problems at this age. Alcohol once in a while, a cigar now and then, but nothing like it used to be. And now I came to another evolution, which is surrender, which means I'm not in control of anything. That everything is coming from a higher source and guiding me. I'll give you an example, just happened to me last month. My sister lives in Atlanta, Georgia, United States. She's 94 years old. I went to visit her, and she said, you know, I did a DNA test, and it looks like you have a son. He's 60 years old. I said, how are you sure? She said, I did the DNA, my daughter did the DNA, and he comes in the picture. And then she said something about what he said about who he knows who his grandfather is, but he was adopted, but he doesn't know who his mother and father were. Would you like to talk to him? I said, yeah. He lives, I was in Atlanta, Georgia, and he lives in Lincoln, Nebraska. And I have his picture. And my sister showed me the picture. I said, you know, that. And I said, Jim, his name is Jim, can I meet you? I'd like to meet you. I understand that you're my son. And I know you're your mother. He said, yeah. I said, before you come on Monday, but before you come, I want you to know that I love you and that I'm proud of you. Because I didn't want anything in his mind to think, how am I going to accept him, if I'm going to accept him. And he started to tell me about his life when I met him. Is this okay?
Да,
Okay.
конечно.
And I said, where did you study? He said, at the University of Hartford. I studied at the University of Hartford. What did you get your degree in? He said, I have a master's degree in education. I have a master's degree in education. I went into the theater. He said, well, I went into music. He's now a conductor. So what I'm saying is, if there's something guiding, and we think we're playing the piano, and it's not us. So I came to the point where I completely surrender to God's will, or to the will of Jesus or the Buddha. I don't know who's up there. I don't know who's guiding me. In Arabic, it's called maktub, which means it is written. You're reading, and the next page is already written. Don't try to change anything. Just go with the flow. It's like you came to me. You're sitting in my house now. Because something, somewhere, led you here.
Oh, I led myself here.
That's what you think. And I know where you're coming
But
from.
how will you prove your position?
How will you prove?
I chosen. You know, like Descartes Cartesius said, I can prove you. He said,
Well, let's not
exist.
This is where you are.
Okay.
I accept it.
Да, хорошо.
You think you did it. I accept it. I think that this was meant to happen. Maktub. It was written. that the guide would lead you here. But I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not going to prove anything. This is just a belief.